Welcome to Network Marketing Pro. My name is Eric Worre, and today I want to teach you how to turn your worst day into your best day. And that sounds strange, right? You have these bad days. How can a bad day become a good day? I'm going to tell you a few stories. I first heard this concept of turning your worst day into your best day from Tony Robbins, and then I was reminded of it by my good friend Jeff Roberti. And I've realized it's happened so many times over the course of my career, especially in the network marketing business. We can have some bad days, right? We can deal with some rejection. We deal with some heartache. We deal with some disappointment. How do you take that and what do you do with it to try and illustrate this lesson to you, this concept to you? I want to tell you 3 stories that happened in my life and what I did with those 3 bad days, okay? 3 bad days I'm going to share with you. The first one was I was early on in my profession. I'd been involved for just a few months, and I finally got up the courage to call somebody on my chicken list. This person was somebody that I really respected. He played professional football for the Minnesota Vikings. He actually gave me some pointers and tips on how to play football when I played in high school, and went to our church, and I just idolized this guy. He was bigger than life. And I was scared to death to call him because I knew he was entrepreneurial in addition to his professional football career. But I was, who was I? I was 22 years old, 23 years old at the time, to call him and try and see what I could do. So I mapped it out in my head. I'm sure you've had this experience. I mapped that out in my head, and I thought about it. And at the time, I was working in a little real estate office. I waited till everybody was gone from the office, and I dialed 6 numbers and hung up, and dialed 6 numbers and hung up, like over and over. Finally just said, hey, let's just do it. And in my mind, here was what was going to happen. Someone else was going to answer, hello, and I was going to say, is the person I'm calling, are they available? Yes, they are. Hold on one second. Clap, 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 clap. They'd walk away. The person would come, and he'd say, hello, this is so-and-so. Can I help you? Right? So that was what was going to happen in my mind, and then I had my little script in front of me of what I was going to say. Well, here's what happened. This person, his name was Wally, this person answered on the first ring. Ring, boom. Hello? And I was like, just totally panicked. My mind left my body, okay? I couldn't put good, coherent sentences together. I was like stumbling, I'm involved in this thing, my dad and his partner are involved and they're successful, maybe you could look at this, you're so powerful, you're so amazing, and he just said, Eric, stop. I'm not interested. No one in my family will ever be interested. 90 days from today, you'll no longer be doing this little project of yours. You'll have moved on to other things. Don't call me at home about business, and hung up. Boom. I don't know if you've ever had this kind of experience. That person that you idolized just absolutely crushed you. Well, that's what, he crushed me that day. You ever felt like a day when gravity is like multiplied? At first I was mushed down, face down onto the desk. And then eventually I slumped down onto the ground, and I remember my face in the carpet thinking, who am I trying to kid anyway? Who am I? What is this? Yes, it's probably silly. And all these thoughts are going through my mind, and I laid there for maybe 10 minutes. And here's when that worst day, at that moment it was my worst day. Here's when that worst day became my best day. I got mad. I laid there thinking, you know what? Who is he to take, it took guts for me to make this call. It took guts for me to pick up the phone, and he should know that took courage for me to do. At the least, he should have had compassion on me and should have been kind in the process, because somebody believed in him when he didn't believe in himself, and I got mad. And that moment, I wrote his name on the top of my legal pad. I was a big legal pad guy for many, many years. And I underlined it a couple times, and I said, I will not allow him, his opinion of me, his opinion of my decision, to be reality. I will not allow it. So that day became my best day because guess what? 90 days later, I wanted to quit. But I couldn't because I couldn't let him be right. I got mad and I went to work, okay? So that day kind of was important for me. Probably a better day than if he said yes and joined my business. For sure a better day. Because it caused me to take action that I wouldn't have taken otherwise. It caused me to solidify my decision, right? So that day, that worst day, became one of the best days of my life. Fast forward a little bit. I'm struggling a little bit in network marketing. I'm making just enough money to be miserable. I'm juggling all these different balls, keeping the balls in the air. And the way my mind works is I focus on whatever task, and I'm not really good at focusing on lots of different things. So I'm really good at avoiding bills. I'm really good at avoiding drama and conflict and creditors and everything else while I'm trying to dig myself out. Sometimes that's not a good idea. I remember I've been working in the business for a few years, and I traveled to Nashville for a wedding, and I ran an ad in the local newspaper. I got a huge response to the ad, and I said, well, you know what? Minneapolis must be dried up. I'm going to take me and my little family, and we're going to go to Tennessee, and we're going to spend the summer there, and we're going to just recruit and build and recruit and build, and it's a virgin territory. It's going to be great. So I did. I went to Nashville, and I recruited and I built some stuff up, got some stuff going, but I ignored every single thing that was happening in Minneapolis, including my bills. And I'll never forget when I came back. We were driving back in two separate vehicles. I drove back first. I had some business stuff, and my wife and her sister were driving back behind me, one day behind. And I'll never forget, I showed up at our little townhouse. And if you can imagine this townhouse, you walk in the front door, you go down some steps to a walkout, you go up some steps to a little living room, and up another little half a flight of steps to the kitchen. So the kitchen was over a little one-car garage that was in the front. There was a little deck, and the kitchen went with the deck over this one-car garage. That's important for what I'm going to tell you. When I arrived there, it was probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and just the sun was, still bright, but I smelled something when I got out of the car. And when I walked to the door, I opened the door, and the electricity had been turned off because I hadn't paid the bill. And I'm like, and the smell that came from this house, people around had to think somebody died in this house because it was so bad. There was a freezer full of meat. The electricity had been turned off for 30 days in the summer. And it just sat there and rotted. So I have this house covered with awful smell. Just the worst thing ever. I called my brother and I said, please, can you come help me clean this up? Because if I don't get this reasonably cleaned up, my wife's going to have a heart attack when she gets back. So he agreed to come over. And I'll never forget going to the refrigerator, opening it up, and having it almost knock you over with the smell, and grabbing these dripping bags of rotted meat and carrying them dripping out onto the deck, over the edge, and dropping them into the trash cans that we had below. Gagging every time, had to do it. And I felt like a failure. I felt like I wasn't a good provider for my family. I felt like a loser. And here's when the worst day became my best day. One of the best days of my life. And during one of those trips, I said, you know what? I've had it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm tired of scrounging around. I'm tired of just doing the minimum. I'm not going to experience what I'm experiencing now ever again the rest of my life. I'm done. I've had it. I'm not living like this anymore. You know what I did? I walked over to the freezer. I opened it up. I put my head inside the freezer, and I did this. And I sucked it in because I wanted to remember that feeling in that moment. I could smell it right now. I could smell it today. In that moment, that worst day became my best day. Because starting there, I was going to do what I needed to do for my family. I was going to do what I needed to do to never feel like that again. And every time I started to think lazy thoughts and procrastinating thoughts, I smelled that smell one more time and I said, no, what? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. Third time, when the worst day became my best. I really pushed hard for a rank advancement. I don't know if you've ever pushed for that, because I wanted to get in this special room at a company convention. They said, hey, if you get to this top rank, if you get in here, you get to be this special room, and there's going to be some rewards for it. So I pushed. I pushed so hard, harder than I've ever worked in my life, and I came this close. You know, the kind of close where you negotiate with the company a little bit. Say, come on, I'm this close. And they said, sorry, kid, maybe next time. So I went to the convention, and they had the private meeting for the people who qualified, and I wasn't one of them. So you know what I did? I went and sat outside that room and watched everybody go in, one at a time. I watched as the door closed, and I felt like my dreams were done. I watched as a marching band lined up outside the room, burst the doors open, and they passed out huge profit-sharing checks to all the people in the room. And I will tell you, it wasn't that day, that worst day, that became my best day, but it was within a few months of that worst day, and that still being strong in my brain, that I finally made the decision to go pro, that I finally made the decision to walk away from amateur and trying to get lucky and looking for shortcuts and systems, that I finally said, I'm going to take this all the way to the top. So that's how those 3 worst days, terrible days, became my best days. And here's how a worst day can become a best day for you. You don't control what happens to you, but you control the meaning of what happens to you. You understand what I'm saying? The meaning of that first shutdown by that football player could have been, well, I need to quit. I need to run away. His opinion is more important than my dreams. I could have applied that kind of a meaning because I idolized that person, but I didn't. I applied a different meaning to it and a more impactful and powerful meaning. When I was dumping out that rotted meat out of my home after the electricity had been turned off, the meaning I could have put to that is I'm a loser, I just need to get a job, I just need to have security, I just need to, I don't care what it is, I'll work in a warehouse, but I'm not going to do this again. Or the meaning could be, I'm going to go make my dreams happen and I'm going to stop looking for shortcuts. Right? The third one, the meaning is, maybe this network marketing thing isn't for me. And I know some of you have thought that too. Maybe network marketing isn't for me. Maybe it's for somebody else, but it's not for me. That's what I thought. And within a few months of that bad day, I changed the meaning and said, no, guess what? If I work on the skills, then they'll have to have me in the room. They'll have to have me on the stage. Like Steve Martin said, become so good that they can't ignore you. That's what I decided to do. Become so good that they couldn't ignore me. So you have an opportunity today to change the meaning that you have given to your bad days and turn them into good days. You have the ability to change how you think about adversity. If you change the meaning, everything can change for you. If you make it empowering, your life is unbelievable. Starting today, your life can change because you control the meaning. That's our show for today. I hope you got value from it. I enjoyed sharing those stories with you. I know all of you have stories. Go out there and improve on everything that you've done. Maybe today can be one of those lessons, one of those messages that needed to be heard at the right time for the right person. If that's you, then I'm glad we took the time to be able to put this together and share it with you. That's our show for today. Ladies and gentlemen, my wish for all of you, as always, is that you decide to become a network marketing professional. that you decide to go pro, because it is a stone cold fact that we do have a better way. Now let's go tell the world. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.